Hello and welcome back to my channel. So I've got a heap of seedlings that are all ready to start going out into the garden, but I don't actually have a lot of space in the garden yet. So I'm in this tricky zone where I've got to try and start putting things out, but the other things aren't ready to come out. Today what I thought I would do is to go down to the raised veggie patch and just see where I have a bit of space and what I can start putting in. So I'm going to start by grabbing some of the seedlings that you see behind me here, and we'll walk down to the veggie patch and we'll start plonking things in. So these are the ones that I really want to start getting in, mostly the tomatoes, the tomatillos, that sort of thing. Okay, so you can see the raised veggie patch behind me. This is where I'm going to start trying to put some of these seedlings in. It's pretty full at the moment, but there are a few little gaps. I'm also thinking I might be able to put some of these seedlings in between some of the existing things that I know are going to peter out soon, and hope that they can still get enough light to start growing. It'll be a bit of a balancing act. But anyway, let's get started and see how much we can get in. It's an example of what I was talking about, where I'm planting the next season's crops in between the current season. So we have lettuce here, some beautiful red oak leek lettuce that we've been enjoying all winter. And I know in this spot, as part of my plan, I'm going to have a zucchini growing here. So I put the zucchini seeds in and started this one now, and obviously this is going to fill up this whole space and eventually shade out the lettuce to a point where they won't be able to grow. But at that point will probably be too hot for the lettuce to be happy anyway. And it just gives me a bit of a head start on getting the zucchini going, because this would obviously not be ready to come out for a little bit longer. So it is the 22nd of August today, I think it is. Yes, it is. 22nd of August. So we are very fast approaching the end of winter here in Queensland, Australia, where I live. In a subtropical environment, spring definitely starts at the beginning of September, or the end of August, actually. The temperatures are starting to warm up. Our nighttime temperatures are slowly increasing. All the flowers are starting to come out, and it's time to get these things going and we get them in the ground. We get really hot here in the middle of summer, so we really have to take advantage of these spring and autumn seasons. So I don't want to miss the boat on it. I have done a planting plan for these 4 beds on Excel. Because I'm using the square foot gardening method, it's been very easy to use Excel as a planning spot. I can just use each of those little cells as a square foot and mark out my beds that way. So what I did is I put in last season's crops into that spreadsheet, effectively the things I was growing in here over winter, most of which are still in here and growing. And then I have worked out what I would like to grow in spring and in summer, and then have attempted to figure out the timing of when things are going to come out and when things are going to be going in. So I know, for instance, in this bed that I'm mostly going to have dwarf tomatoes and capsicums, and I think an eggplant, and some Cape gooseberries. At the moment, the only part of this bed that is free is this one little section here. I know there's a tomato that's going to go in that spot, so I'm going to plant that one today. However, down here in this section I have spinach growing. So my thinking is that I can probably squeeze the plants that are supposed to go in there for summer in between the spinach, and it's probably going to be fine. The new plants should get enough sun still because the spinach isn't massive, and the spinach should be okay because they can handle a bit of shade anyway, particularly as things start warming up. They actually appreciate not being in too much heat. So that's my plan. So I'm going to pull out my phone and check the plan that I've made and put the variety in that I have decided to put in here. Here's a little screenshot of what I'm talking about. So in the bottom section there, that's what's currently in the bed. This top section here is what I'm planning on putting in. So I know if I go to that cell that I'm talking about, I am putting in a tartura tomato. So let me find it. And here it is. So it's quite a nice seedling. I'm quite happy with how these tomato seedlings have grown. So I'm planning on planting this tomato seedling up to these first leaves here. All of this space below will turn into roots, and will just give the tomato a much better root system, which then allows it to get more nutrients and more water and just be a little bit more resilient. Got my favourite planting tool. I love how easy these raised beds are to plant in. My in-ground planting is really challenging because of how tough the soil is. This is like a dream. Difficult to get this guy out one-handed though. There we go. Going to need a deeper hole. Probably don't need any tools to do this actually. Okay, so that looks pretty good. You can see that the soil level is about where I want it to be. So I'm just going to backfill now. I'm not putting any amendments in when I plant. This soil is still pretty new. It's only had one round of things growing in it. And in this particular spot, it didn't actually produce anything because the pak choi that was here bolted before it got to do much. So this should still have plenty of nutrients in it, and I will just make sure that I am feeding adequately. And there we go. I'm going to put the tags in that I had made because I haven't made any fancy new tags yet. And we'll call that one good. One down. A few more to go. Back to the planting plan, and we'll see what else we have space to put in. Okay, so these two spaces here where I was talking about the spinach, I want to put Cape gooseberries in there, but my Cape gooseberry seedlings are not that big yet, so I might actually leave that another week or two before I do that one. Definitely can't put in the eggplant and the chili that I want in this space here because of these Chinese cabbage, so that'll have to wait. And the same with this spot here because we've got two tomatoes that are supposed to go in here, but clearly these cauliflowers are going to be too big to work around. So that's it for that bed. Let's move on to the next one and see if we can stick anything in. As an aside, do you see how big these snow peas are getting? Very excited that we're about to start getting snow peas. We've actually got one snow pea plant over here that has a flower. Here we go. There is our first flower of the season, so we should be getting snow peas soon. Okay, let's consult the plan again. So we're now in bed 3, and in this one we're doing indeterminate tomatoes along the trellis, but I'm not putting those in yet. And tomatillos. We've got scallop squash, which I have already started, and I'm intending on putting in a zucchini up in that top section there. So thinking I have got a zucchini start here. So we might put this zucchini in next to this little, oh, I'm actually tempted to just pull that cauliflower out. It is nowhere near as big as the other cauliflowers that we have, so I don't think it's actually going to do much. What to do? Maybe at this stage I'll just put the zucchini in next to it. We'll keep watching that. Likely not going to get anything out of it anyway, but I'll feel better if I don't rip it out right now. No, I'm taking it out. It's not going to do anything. And that was the perfect spot for the zucchini. That's okay, we're going to put that in the compost. It's not a waste. Normally in our climate I would always direct sow things like zucchinis. However, Just wanting to try and get a bit of a jump on the seedlings. So I thought it was worth attempting to start a few things in the little seedling pots and then transplant them. If it doesn't work, I can throw a couple of seeds in here and it won't be too much time lost, so that's fine. I'm going to have to make sure I come down and label things. Didn't really think about that. This one had a sticker label, so can't really stick that down in the ground. Also, random golf ball. Wonder where that came from. Toddlers. Always putting fun things in the garden. We have a blank spot here, so the next thing is checking the plan and seeing what's supposed to be growing here. Okay, so it's supposed to be a straight neck squash in this area here where these lettuces are, and silver beet at the end here. So I can probably get some silver beet seeds and direct sow those, because I don't have any seedlings started for them. And I don't have a straight neck squash seedling either, so that one needs to be a seed. So I will do that after I get the rest of these seedlings put in. We'll come back to this section. I appear to have very little spare space in this particular bed, although I do have some of those smaller crops that I could plant between. So the smaller things I have in this section that could be planted between is I do have some rockets planted in here, but they're not that happy. They really have not done much at all. They're still alive technically, but I don't think I'd be sad about interplanting between those. Same with these rockets that I've got in here. I've got some lovely big ones, but some of these littler ones just never took off. And I think we're about to run out of time on these anyway, because I've already had to start picking off the flowers from the rocket because they're about to bolt. We're just getting too warm already. So, things that are supposed to be going into this bed, we're supposed to be planting beans, bush beans in this section here, as well as in this section here when these come out. So I could get a first wave of those started and plant the seeds in this first section and this section here, and then do a second round when these two bigger things come out, which means it's not bad to have a bit of succession planting anyway. Cucumbers planted in this section over here to go up over the trellis when I actually make it. I need to get that done. So I could plant the seeds for those as well, just direct sow them in because I haven't got any starts of those either. So I've got a little bit of space there. Okay, bed number one. So are we going to have anything to put in this one? Let's have a look. Most of this bed is also going to be capsicums, chilies and dwarf tomatoes, similarly to the one at the end. We've got 3 Roma tomatoes and 2 Tartura tomatoes, which are supposed to be going through here. Got carrots there, can't go in yet. Got silver beet. Maybe I could plant it in between the silver beet. I'm not too wedded to the silver beet anyway, so that's possibly a solution. And also I don't think the silver beet's been doing very good. Slowly starting to get bigger leaves, but I don't know. It's not growing very quick. And then this whole front section is lettuce, so we could definitely put in the Roma tomatoes that are supposed to be going in this area. I think that would be a good plan. Let's do that. So 2 Romas. So you may be looking at the space that I'm planting in here and going, Jodie, there's not enough room. You're probably right. I think I am going to be probably trying to squeeze a bit too much in this space. But it's my first year with these beds and I thought that it was worth just pushing the limit a little bit and seeing what they're capable of accepting. So I could come to regret this, but we're just going to shove a heap of stuff in and see what grows. I did at one point have markers for where the square foot boundaries were. So there's one there. I don't know if I can find the other one to know where the next... Oh yep, there we go. These strings. Okay, so I need to plant it right in the middle. Right, 2 more tomatoes in. Okay, so I found my boundaries for the square foot section, and so I need to stick the tomato right in the middle here. Maybe a bit trickier to do without disturbing these silver beet, but see how we go. Like I said, I'm not particularly wedded to them anyway because they haven't really grown much in the last couple of months. I'd rather get something in that's probably going to do a lot better. Okay, it's in. Okay, so I also brought down with me the tomatillos and the cucamelons seedlings. So I'm going to go back to the plan and figure out where I'm supposed to be putting those and see if we can squeeze them in. Where are the cucamelons on the list? Ah, there. Okay, so the cucamelons are supposed to be going on this trellis, which is yet to be built, in this section here. So I've currently got some rescue leeky, maybe spring onion, not sure what they are, and onions in this section. So I think we can just stick these cucamelons in between, and we'll just see what happens. So I've got 3 cucamelon seedlings, and I'm going to attempt to squeeze them in here. I probably should be putting less than 3 in a 1 square metre space, but I'm just experimenting. So, I'm just going to pull these bottom leaves off this cauliflower here just to give us a bit of extra space. We'll actually take these up and we'll eat these. And we're going to put these in. I think we're just going to put 2 in actually, now that I'm looking at it. We'll keep this one as backup. So there's the cauliflower there that I pulled the bottom leaves off. We're going to have 1 in here. We've got these little spring onions or leeks or whatever they are. Again, not particularly wedded to them because they were rescues from the other garden. And then we'll put the other cucamelon in here. And then we've got the onion, rescue onion here. Again, don't really care. So I'd much rather have these cucamelons because I think my daughter is absolutely going to love these because her favourite thing from the garden is cucumbers and broccoli. But during the summer, it's cucumbers. So tiny little baby cucumbers is just going to like blow her mind. At least I don't need as big a hole with this one because obviously you're not planting them as deep as you do tomatoes. This might be a silly idea, but the tomatillos are supposed to be going on that trellis which has the sugar snap peas. And then I've also got a couple of indeterminate tomatoes that are supposed to be going along there. I'm really tempted to just stick these in between the the snap peas on that trellis and see what happens. What to do? Let's just do it. Okay, so it's supposed to be tomatillo, and then 3 indeterminate tomatoes. The tomatoes are a Santorini tomato, and then 2 Sunny Boys, which the Sunny Boys are F1 hybrids, which is supposed to be really good in our sort of climate. So really excited to try those. So guess I just try and make some space in between these and see what happens. Worst case scenario, I have to pull the sugar snap peas out because they're crowding out the tomatoes, and it's not a big deal. The other thing that could happen, of course, is that the tomatoes outdo the sugar snap peas. Again, not the biggest deal. So we'll see. Anyway, tomatillo going in. I've never grown tomatillos before. Actually, never even eaten tomatillos, but I'm excited by the idea of them. So. I'm not going to plant these as deep as I possibly would have because I'm going to try not to disturb the roots of the sugar snap peas too much. But I figure they've got something to climb up anyway, which will help with them with support. So the leeks go from here to here. So I guess that means oh, that's a cucamelon. I'm not putting a cucamelon in here, I'm putting a tomatillo. Tomatillo. So I guess that means I can put one in here. And lastly, one olive oil, which I might put in this one. This is where the section of sugar sap peas aren't doing as well, and these ones are doing much better. So we might put one of these in here now, and then we'll come back in with another one later. Okay, I've gone and grabbed some seeds, and I'm going to start putting in those ones that we just mentioned. I was just thinking as well, I might throw in some radish seeds just down here where I'm going to eventually put a capsicum, because I'm not ready to plant out those capsicums yet. And if I can get another lot of radishes in for then, that'd be great. So I'm just going to fill that spot first, and then we'll work our way back. I'm just moving off the mulch so that I can plant these radish seeds and they won't be inhibited by that. I'm going to plant 16 radish seeds in this 1 square foot area. So I've got some watermelon radish, and that's all I've got. So watermelon radish it is. I don't have many radish seeds left, so hopefully these will get us through. Just putting 2 seeds per hole just to make sure we get germination. So I had attempted to plant some of the Redlands white cucumber in here a couple of weeks ago, and I'm getting no sign of germination, so I'm going to put some more seeds in and we'll see if we can get anything to come up. I've also started them in seedling pots up at the seed starting area, and I've had no success there either, so I'm hoping I haven't got bad seeds. I mean, they worked fine last year, so I don't imagine that I would have lost that much germination rate in just 1 year. But anyway, so we'll try again. Again, I'm going to go with 2 seeds per hole. So I've got my holes there and drop 2 seeds in each. Okay, now for some beans. So I'm going to put the Redlands bush beans in here. So just putting in a few holes. Trying to avoid these rockets a little, but at the same time not really worried about it because they haven't done that well. So put in 9 there. Two little half beans. Well, we'll throw them in and see what happens. I don't expect they will actually do anything. And I don't have a lot of these seeds, so I'm just going to put 1 per cell and hope that we get decent germination. So I always plant my seeds like this on the side. That way they have a fair chance of being able to push up and down, and I haven't like put them in the wrong way and then they have to try and turn around in the dirt. Apologies for the background sound. I think someone is whippersnippering and We're on acreage, there's always someone doing something, so hopefully it's not too loud. I think my camera's shut off, so I think what I would have said in that time is we're going to put a scallop squash in this area here. We had already planted earlier this morning the zucchini and the straight neck squash. These are all probably too close together, but we're just going to give it a go and see what happens. And I've just put in some silver beet as well, some of the rainbow variety. I haven't got any labels for anything, so I'm just going to run around and stolen a couple of labels out of different parts of the garden where things are already up and I kind of know what they are. So I'll put them in here now and I'll get some more labels made. Got a tiny bit of spare space in here, so I actually might just throw in a row of lettuce just as a succession, so they should fit in here for a little while longer. So the variety I'm going to put in is this Australian yellow leaf lettuce. Now this one's supposed to have a really good heat tolerance, so hopefully it'll last for a little bit longer. I've not had a really good germination with this so far, but I've only been trying to do it in seedling pots, so I thought I'd give it a direct sow and see if that works any better. Okay, I think that's it that I want to plant for now, so I'm just going to go and get the hose and we can water these in quickly. While I was down here watering, I thought I would check whether our friend is still living in this cabbage. And I don't know if you'll be able to see him. Oh, yep, there he is. Mr. Huntsman Spider still thinks this is his home. Okay, well, he's got a few more weeks to move out and then he's going to get kicked out. Well, that's it. Some more planting for spring is done. Hopefully everything we've planted today is happy, and we will be celebrating some beautiful plants growing in the next few weeks. And I hope that you will join me again for more garden adventures on our channel here. I'm really enjoying doing these videos and I would love for you to come along on the journey. So please subscribe and I will see you next time. Bye!